Okay, so now we can talk about a floor in your shelter. And a floor is as important sometimes, if not perhaps more important in some situations than even a roof. A floor to get off the ground. Now you may get up away from creepy crawlies and so forth, but that's not the main issue. The main issue is simply water. If you don't select the best site, if it rains, if it pours rain, you might have water seeping into your shelter, and to be up on a platform, that's the way you want to go. And what you've got is the best way to go is a raised timber platform. I've got a number of videos online in this playlist talking about a raised timber platform, and also another playlist, I've got two playlists for shelter. And in my mind, the easiest is to build something similar to this. Two support poles across like that, you know, what, around 2.5, 3 feet long, thereabouts. And then on top of that, you're going to put your 6 foot long poles, around 2-inch poles on top to form a nice bed. You don't want the bed poles to be much bigger than 2-inch. I find 2-inch is nice and comfortable. If they become too big, they become less comfortable. So around 2-inch is fine. And smaller than 2-inch, like 1-inch poles, it might be difficult to keep those in place and find nice straight 1-inch poles in my experience. But they can be thinner, but around 2-inch is fine. And those support poles, you know, they can be 2, 3, 4 inches, whatever you like. In theory, you can have massive tree trunks and get really off the ground. So, but if you're looking at a shelter, just being inside a shelter, then around that dimensions, you're going to get at least 4, 5, 6 inches off the ground, depending on how big your shelter is and so forth. And how wide, 2.5 to 3 feet, will give you enough room to put those poles, and at least 2 feet, between 2 and 3 feet, is an okay width for a single person to lay down on. I find 6 foot long is a good length. I'm under 6 feet, so it's a handy measurement to lay down. If you're a tall person, you've got to make them longer, of course. If you're a short person, maybe you can save some material and save some resources and have shorter poles. So that's a raised timber platform. You're going to get 4, 5, 6 inches thereabouts off the ground. I'd rather be sleeping off the ground than on dirt, especially if that water comes in. Now what you can do is place insulation material underneath. If it's cold weather, you could place bedding material on top to lay on to make it more comfortable and for some more insulation. And that material is going to be what I call the GFC material, the greenest, freshest, cleanest debris material that you can find underneath or on top. And if you can't make a timber platform, that does involve work and time and resources, of course. At the very least, you can throw in that GFC material to form a bed, to lay on a bed. That's the bare minimum that you want to do, but I just prefer to be up on a nice, clean timber platform, nice and clean. And the reason I talk about the greenest, freshest and cleanest is because if you're picking up dirt, rubbish from the ground, dead leaves and so forth, you're going to bring in all sorts of parasites, insects, dirt. You don't want to be sleeping on or in that sort of stuff. That's why it's got to be GFC material. And that debris material, of course, is whatever is on hand. Leaves, clumps of grass, ferns, palm fronds, just whatever's on hand. But most importantly, GFC, greenest, freshest, cleanest. And what you can do on a daily basis just about is clean out the old material and bring in new GFC material. Whether it's bedding or underneath insulation or on top, you always clean out and renew that material to make sure it's the greenest, freshest, cleanest material that you can find. But a raised timber platform, 6 foot poles on support poles, just like that, a great option to get off the ground in case water comes in. You might get away from some creepy crawlies. I've got plenty of videos online where I talk about the raised timber platform.